All right, hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Hey, look.
Hello.
Today is a great day. Today is my pleasure. Today is the day that I get to sit here with four fine gentlemen. Four fine gentlemen that can bring purpose to any and every last one of us. Bring insight, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And that's a plus. So today I got the pleasure sitting here with Brother Tim, Brother Kevin, Brother Omar, and Brother Malik. And they're going to share some insight, some knowledge, some understanding, some wisdom to the public. And so it's going to give me great pleasure to be able to moderate and bring this information to y'all. So without further ado, I'm going to allow this brother Tim, of course, to take 60 seconds, introduce himself, and then Kevin, then brother Omar, and then brother Malik. All right, so I'm gonna start off with you, brother.
Okay, I'm Brother Tim. I am, we have a company here called Blind Leading the Blind.
Okay.
And I am vision impaired, legally blind.
Okay.
And so we have some ideas of how to help other blind people and disabled people, in terms of housing, living independent, points and views on how to use transportation, and technology things. These things we want to share with the audience.
Outstanding. I appreciate that. Brother Kev, can you give some insight, just a little bit about yourself too?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brother Kevin. Like Brother Tim said, we have a company called Blind Leading the Blind, but this podcast is called Bridging the Gaps. And Bridging the Gap is simply just trying to teach people, trying to show people what we've been through, and we're trying to give people some insight on how we've made it through, and maybe if we can help one person, then we've done our job. Being visually impaired is not an easy job, and I'm sure that no one wants to trade places with us, but I don't even want no one to trade places with me at this point, because I'm not going to say that I love it, but I love the me that I become, because I'm a fierce fighter at this point. And I just wanted to be able to help people and to show people that there's more to me than meets the eye, so to speak.
Outstanding. And Brother Omar, we know that you're not blind, but you're also in a capacity where you're sharing insight and are affiliated / associated with these gentlemen. So you see for them.
Yes.
You do things for them. You help them.
We support each other.
Correct.
I had a stroke in 2011 that left my balance off, and I can walk, but not as efficiently as I could once before. I used to run 50 miles a week. After I had the stroke in 2011, I had to cut back on a lot of things I did. I taught, and I still teach at the college level, and I'm a researcher. I research in the spatial environment, which is geographic information systems. So that's what I do, and that's what I do now. I still do a research project at Cotton State University, and we use GIS as our foundation.
Great. Brother Malik, again, you're in the same capacity as Brother Omar. Share some insight on, of course, your experience.
Well, I joined the group with Omar and me. We've been always together for welfare and community services, so we had that input and understanding. So Mustafa introduced me to the group, and I have some handicap situation because of my mental,
Sure.
illness.
Please share.
It took a long, before I could conclude it, I suffered at least 22 years, the mental, disability I have. So I can feel their disability. They are, more, and if I've been through that psychological trauma, and how much they suffer, and they keep it inside, you know, because like, you know, conversation or, I mean, so that's made me, you know, give me a inspiration to join the group and, you know, work for, I mean, you know.
So, I got a couple questions that I like to ask all four of y'all. Now again, for Brother Omar and Brother Malik, it's gonna be from a different perspective, but I'm gonna give you pretty much the same question, but I like, of course, your answer from more of a supportive avenue than the actual capacity of being blind. All right, because these are the only two gentlemen that's blind.
Yeah.
But again, so the support aspect is very, very important. All right. So one of the questions that I want to ask is, I'm gonna talk about daily challenges. What are some of the biggest challenges that you face in your daily life in terms of dealing with blindness, and how do you overcome them? Brother Tim.
I ain't gonna say they're big challenges, because I've been dealing with them for just about 20 years. You know, maybe just talking with my family members, you know, about, you know, issues that, you know, I have two daughters and a wife, so, you know, they have, you know, women issues, and they at the age 20, 22, so they looking to get married. So right now, that's a big issue. You know, finding, you know, husbands, you know, I guess the last big issue when my oldest
He said
daughter
that's a
went
big
to
issue.
college.
You have to find them a husband, or do they find their own husband?
All of us.
I'm just
yeah,
bringing
all
some
of us,
humor
yeah,
to
well,
it.
you know, they'll find, and then they'll bring the issue to me.
Okay.
I guess kind of finalize it.
Gotcha,
Me and my
gotcha.
wife.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, you know, they just not out there on their own, you know what I mean, bringing anybody, you know what I mean? But I guess, you know, the last big issue was, you know, my oldest daughter going off to college, you know, so wintertime, you know, she had to walk to certain buildings, and that was worrisome, because she had a class at night that was from like, I guess from maybe 7 to 10, you know, so me and my wife, you know, we was always worried when she had those classes like twice a week, you know what I mean, and so we call, you know, about, you know, they, you know, a lot of times when they answer the phone, you know, and stuff like that.
So one of your challenges that you're saying that you're dealing with is not being able to provide the security that you need, of course, for your family.
Right.
Or the oversight.
Right, yeah.
Okay. What are some of the biggest challenges you face in your daily life due to blindness, and how do you overcome it?
So I tell you what, you guys need a Snickers bar, 'cause it'll be a while, you know.
A Snickers? Yeah.
It'll be a while.
You gotta break it down into like 60, 90 seconds, my brother.
I tell you what, so last night, I dropped my medication. I take a sleep medication called Trazodone, but I'm telling you, I don't sleep. They say that your archaic rhythm is off when you lose your sight. So I don't sleep well at all. I mean, I toss and turn all night because you really, you know, you just see dark and light. You just don't see it all. So you don't know, you know, difference between light and dark. So I don't sleep at all. So I take sleep medication. But anyway, I dropped the sleep medication on the floor. And so
Did you find
that's what I'm talking about. So now you're like, damn,
Gotcha.
you know. So it's like, and it's like, okay, if you can see, there you go. You understand what I'm saying? Now you know roaming around the room, and you don't want to ask people, you know, your housemates to help you out, and so now you frustrated. You know, you like fuck, you know. And this is what I'm saying at night, you know. Like, hey, look, I'm a grown man, you know. And I'm upset because I can't find my medication and I want to sleep. So I didn't sleep at all last night at all. You know, and it's like I get so upset, and then not being able to. I always drove. I lost my sight 28 months ago, so I always drove everywhere I want to go. Not being able to come and go as I please is a killer.
It's a killer. Wow.
It's a killer.
Got it. Brother Omar, I'm gonna ask you the same question, but I'm gonna ask it to you from a different perspective, from a supporter. All right, so what are some of the biggest challenges you face in your daily life when you do assist these brothers in terms of their blindness and
Communication,
in terms of that, and then how do you overcome it?
communication, time
Communication,
value,
what it frustrates you.
and performance of our duties, the things that we get charged for.
Okay,
Because they're blind, they can't see me make my gestures.
got you.
And sometimes I'm not always certain that they understand what I'm saying.
Can you
And
speak up for me just a little bit?
Sometimes they're not certain about what, that they understand what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And sometimes I don't always think they understand because I read facial expressions.
Got you.
And, I'm not always certain that they understand me or I understand them.
Got you.
So it's communication that's important and time value,
Right.
respecting each other's time.
So that's
I
just
know
also
that with
just being
them,
patient too.
You have
right?
more patience. And then
Okay.
I'm the driver because I'm sighted. So when you drive around, you gotta make certain about where you're going and be going there exactly. And both of them are not recently blind, they were sighted. And they have understanding of the roads. And
Okay.
Tim, for example, he always wanna tell you which way to go. It's a challenge. He wanna tell you how to get there fast. And Kevin is the same way to certain sorts.
So,
And he wanna tell you how to get there.
so my question to you is, would you just drive, let them talk, give direction, but you go the way that you wanna go?
Right.
Outstanding. I'm gonna ask you the same question too, all right? What are some of the biggest challenges that you face in your daily life in assisting the blind, and how do you overcome, of course, any of those challenges?
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, I
You
have
got
this.
all mine.
Yeah, I mean, I have this. I mean, radical or I mean, social. I mean, I was aware about social need. I mean, of our social being. My teacher proud me in a way that like I could bring this out. I mean, thinking. Change patterns of thinking. Like what you read. Like we had this in our discussion. So those things had made me involved with them,
Okay.
and because I had suffered the same, I mean, because mental, being a mental, I mean, disorder or something, some of those things, it's really hard to comprehend. My daughter is an optimist because she when she was young she had an eye and she was dyslexic.
Okay.
And we didn't know, and nobody was around teaching, So
Another form of
that's-
disability.
This is exactly,
Got you.
So she cooped up with that, and she went into that field where, So now we have this gene in our bone, I mean, to be around and to give back, Because I'm in this age where I have no dreams. The only dream I have is
But we always
my
dream,
buddy
right? We don't
my
stop
buddy
dreaming
around me.
Until
I mean,
we take
they are
our last
happy.
breath.
No, my dream is that everybody should be happy.
Outstanding. That's
I
a
mean,
dream.
and give everybody should have respect. I mean, their own space. I mean, their privacy. Like we all should. I mean, it's a good society. I mean, like as we're talking, I'm an immigrant. Like I've been here like 40 years almost.
Okay.
So I mean, I have a different world. I mean, I have lived, and they have a different perspective. Here. So I understand their handicap, and I will help be part of it.
Got you. Great. Blessed with the presence of Miss Brooke Evans. Welcome, Miss Brooke Evans.
Hello.
Can you share with us a little bit about what you do and your perspective on exactly how you render support to these gentlemen?
Okay. Well, basically, right now I'm doing a lot of research and learning about like different things as far as like genealogy and stuff like that, and also learning about like different coding and markers that we may have as far as like blindness and stuff. So I can't wait to like maybe like in 2 more sessions I'll like give y'all my research results in reference to that. But I mean, I think that it's a lot of things health-wise that is lacking the blind community, and there's also a lot of research that's being done, and I don't know if like you guys are aware of certain things that they are doing as far as like blindness. So I'm here to help, and I love this group. This group is so amazing. So, and I called Kevin like 10 times last night, and he didn't answer. So,
Okay, Kevin.
So, Brother Kevin,
Yeah,
I'm gonna pick on you a little bit, my brother.
yeah, I know.
Alright? So, what are some of the misconceptions that people have about blindness?
I think they think we have leprosy or something like that. People don't like, you know how many friends and relations I've lost since I've become blind? It's like they close the door and just leave you be, and that's like terrible. You know, when I first went blind, I come out of the room 6 months. 6 months I stayed in the room. I dare say I was depressed, and I was in a real dark place, and like people like. You know, I dare say, like my own brother, like we had the same mother, and like he don't call me where he used to call me. You know what I mean? And I you know, and I felt like, well, damn, what I do to you? You know what I mean? This same guy that, you know, and I don't want to. I'm not gonna drag him because I love him dearly. But I'm like, damn, you my brother. You know what I mean? You know, we FOE, family over everything. We all we got. So. I mean, you know, we supposed to be closer than we are, you know what I mean? Like, my cousin Virgil is my brother, you know. Umar know my cousin Virgil, that's my brother, you know what I mean? He takes time with me every 2 weeks and does everything that I need him to do. That's my brother. Not to say that my blood brother's not my brother. I mean, you just lose a lot of relations, and it like, it kills me. It brings me to tears to see the people that, you know, that you've lost during this long, bitter travel. It hurts.
Got you. All right, so Brother Omar, so I'm gonna ask you that same question in the form, but from a supporter's, of course, standpoint. So
He my brother.
what,
He's my brother. So I'm sorry.
what are some of the common misconceptions that you see that our public or our people, in terms of the general public, actually have towards blindness? In terms of what you see,
Important.
companionship,
Companionship.
which is basically what Brother Kev just
When
expressed.
Brother Kevin, I'm concerned that he should get married. And sometimes.
He should get what? Can you
Married.
speak up?
Married.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
Muslim. And so
Okay.
you want for your brother, but you want for yourself.
Yes.
Now, Kevin, I'm always concerned that he finds a nice wife. Tim is married. He's got very good support.
Great.
He has two very supportive daughters and a wife that are very intelligent. His wife's a teacher.
Okay.
And always trying to tell them, blessed, be thankful for what you have, because you don't always value it until it's gone. But at the same time, I guess the biggest void is to make certain that Kevin is happy. He had challenges in his life and have to listen to him. And I think a good wife will settle that issue.
So I'm going to direct this question to Brother Tim then. And now I'm going to talk about, because I just heard from Brother Kevin in terms of the emotional support, in terms of what he needs to keep his spirits lifted. And I just heard from Brother Omar in terms of rendering that support to give, of course, the blindness, just the encouragement and motivation to not fall into a depression or anything of that nature. But Brother Tim, what strategies do you use to maintain your mental health and your emotional well-being, and how do you deal with that?
Well, first and foremost is my religious belief,
Okay.
you know, which is a way of life called Islam.
And your religion is
Islam.
Islam.
Yeah, I'm a Muslim.
Okay.
Okay, so that kind of really prepared me, you know, that we look at the life of this world as full of, you know, from the beginning to the end, it's a struggle. You know, being born, you know, it's a struggle coming out of the womb, and it'll be a struggle to the end, and that full of tests and trials, you know, every single day. You know what I mean? But also I believe after difficulty come ease, you know. And, you know, so I had, you know, strong family support. And I have 3 people around me, and brothers and sisters. You know, I didn't experience what Kevin experienced, like, you know, he lost, you know, everybody kind of, you know, backed away. You know, but everybody stayed close to me, you know, so I didn't have that feeling. But, you know, it all, you know, starts with our religious belief as a family and family members, you know.
But a quick question to you and Brother Kevin. Can you give a percentage on the blindness that you are? Like, is it levels to it? Is it like totally blind, fully blind, partially blind?
Okay, in my case, I would be diagnosed as vision impaired, legally blind, because I still have some vision.
Okay.
Okay, but my vision is affected. Parental vision is affected. You know, looking left to right. You know, up and down, and then contrast is affected. You know, I could see dark objects on this white table.
Right.
But if it's a white object on this white table, I would have a hard time finding it.
Got you.
Okay, so that's like contrast. You know, two things the same color. You know, I wouldn't be able to identify one of them. You know, but my left eye, there's no vision at all. So everything I do have left is in my right eye. So I can read like large print, meaning I can write on a white sheet of paper with a magic marker. So that make the letter large.
Okay.
You know.
Got you.
I wouldn't be able to see pencil or ink pen. You know. A little bit with a magnifier. Yeah. And then the furthest distance away from me, you know, I don't see it.
Okay.
You know, people or other objects, they look like, you know, just shadow figures. You know, if you saw a shadow, that's where I would see, you know, people or animals, you know, just moving around, you know.
Got you. Okay. Brother Kevin, can you give that same description?
I'm totally blind. I can't see nothing. So.
Okay, so you're totally blind.
If you come slap me in my face, I wouldn't know who did it.
Okay. All right. So the advantages and the disadvantages are totally different between the both of you.
Yes.
Even though you both are suffering from a disability and visually impaired, of course, with Brother Kevin being totally blind, the challenges still remains the same though, correct?
Yeah, because I'm blind to you know, a lot of things, you know, and but there's some things I can, you know, figure out, make out with this little bit of vision, you know, so.
Okay. So Brother Kevin, question.
Yes.
All right, so for you, how has your perspective on life changed since you became blind?
That's a good question. I tend to play people with a long handle spoon, certain people, and I give people the same energy they give me, and I put a lot of energy into my grandson. That's my guy, my grandson. I put a lot of energy into him. I build him up. He's 7, and I want him to be the best that he can be. I was just with him yesterday.
What's his name?
His name is KJ.
KJ. Okay.
Yeah, he's a funny little guy too. You called me yesterday. We was at Dairy Queen.
Oh, that's why. Oh, that's why y'all didn't answer.
Yeah, we was at Dairy Queen yesterday. I took him out. We usually do a little lunch or something like that, a little dinner. So we went out yesterday, and I put my energy into him, and I give him his little allowance. Like I do everything for him. And he asked me yesterday. He said, "Well, Papa Kevin," I said, "Well," he said, "Where's my allowance at?" Well, little buddy, your phone is broke. I just ordered you a phone. That's your allowance, you know, like, you know. And he said, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay," you know. But I put my energy into him, and but also in this group, I'm always thinking about things. I'm always thinking, you know, I'm a kid at heart, but I still. Even though my mom is retired, I still want to tell her, even though she don't work no more, I still had the passion to say, "Mom, you ain't got to work no more."
Right.
So your priorities change.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
went to her.
Times changed, they shifted.
Yeah.
And the overall view in which you've seen things previously isn't the same. So the adjustment is what to take care of or to prioritize different. Can you get some insight on that?
I've been a provider my whole life. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I'm still a provider. I'm going to provide. You know, that's just me. You know, I'm a 10 toes down kind of. I've been a provider. So I like when we blow, I'm going to send my mom and my pop on one of those cruises. They can cruise the whole year.
Okay.
You know, that's just been my thing. You know what I mean? Like I want to put her in place. They got a nice home in South Carolina, real nice. Like I was living in South Carolina before I came. When I went blind, when I came back up here. But I mean, they live a nice life. You know, my stepdad was a news producer for 13 News in New York. You know, so they live a nice life, real simple. You know, they don't want for nothing. You know, so I still want to provide, and you know, and even though me and my brother we don't see eye to eye, I love him. I'm still gonna provide for him because that's just what I am.
Got you.
You know.
Okay. So
I just have a few questions because I always wondered, is like, are you guys still going to like the eye doctor?
Yes.
So-
Yeah.
And what do they say? Like,
Well, I wouldn't have a second opinion because I was just like, when they said I was blind, I'm like, no, the fuck I'm not. Excuse me for cursing. I was like, no.
right.
So I said, well, I go to Kaiser, by the way. I love Kaiser too, but
Yeah, okay.
I went to John Hopkins
Okay.
because I wanted a second opinion because I was just like distraught when they told me those words, you know.
Right.
So I went to John Hopkins Wilmer Eye Clinic, and so you know, when he told me that, kind of like sunk in. He said, I gave your right eye, my left eye was blind, and he said, I gave your right eye every opportunity I could for it to show me a sign, and it didn't. And it was like, boom. You know what I mean? Like,
It just gradually started to like go to like you don't see anything.
I had a headache one day. I was working in Bethesda, Maryland. I was behavioral therapist. I worked in Bethesda, Maryland, and I had a piercing headache.
Okay.
And I don't get headaches, so went to the store, took some Excedrin, and got some Excedrin, took some Excedrin, and you know, I took Excedrin, and I sneezed or something, and I sneezed, my eyes closed, and you know, the headache was gone, but I could not see out my left eye. I'm like, what is going on? You know, it was a piercing headache. Like I don't get headaches, and so I like after that. You know, I'm driving back from Bethesda and I kept playing with my eye, like, closing one eye, open another eye. And so, you know, if you know anything, like your eye, your right eye, your left eye will see what your right eye is, a reflection. So, like, I'm driving up the road, I'm like, you know, open my eyes, and I'm like, you know, I can't see out my left eye. So then immediately, you know, I made an appointment to go to the eye doctor. And, yeah, they said, you know, the eye pressure, my eye pressure was 60, and a regular person's eye pressure was supposed to be 13.
Oh, okay.
So the eye pressure was very, very high, and this is at that
Like in the
point.
vessels, like the vessels of the eye, like
This your eye, okay, so you know your high blood pressure,
yeah.
your eye pressure is
Okay.
very, very high,
Okay.
and so you know at this point, so now I'm at Kaiser, and so I'm at Kaiser Woodlawn. So at this point, they said, okay, so we're gonna have to get this eye pressure down. I said, okay, what are you gonna do? They stuck a needle in my eye. That was the
my
worst
gosh.
thing. And so
Oh
now
my
this eye is looking at this eye, and I'm like, they had about 6 or 8 people hold me down. I could not take it. Like because they stick a needle in your eye to alleviate the pressure, and then they tell me, well, your eye could bust. Your eye could bust.
What?
What are you
Oh my
talking?
God.
Like it was just so crazy.
So what happened after they put the needle? Like, were you able to see?
Your eyes start watering. It starts watering because I guess that's some of the pressure coming out. But then it went down for a couple days, and they told me come back in a couple days, and it went right back up. So then they was like, okay, so we're gonna have to like do laser surgery, and they said they're gonna turn the faucets off. They said, so to speak. So they did laser surgery. And that smelled like burning hair, and it was like a bright light, you know, and she was doing it with the foot pedals, she said. and like she did it with the foot pedals, and so they was doing that, and so they did that, and it went down to like 20, but it's supposed to be 13. So then they gave me these eye drops and stuff, some steroids and some prednisone eye drops, some some different stuff, and I've been on eye drops just for comfort ever since.
What? Oh, you said for comfort, so it's still like you still have pain?
Yeah, it was still hurting now and then, but for comfort.
So did they say anything about like your diet or like where they like what caused?
Diabetes.
I'm gonna ask you a similar question to what I asked Brother Kev and Brother Tim, all right? And my question is, how has your life changed in rendering, of course, support to these brothers and knowing that, of course, you're a resource to them?
Well, I want to be like their eyes and their hand. I have, some ideas how to enter into the entrepreneurship, where they will have some financial independence, because that's the goal. Like as Kevin said, that he was always been a provider and he wants to remain a provider. This is a positive thinking.
Right.
So I support. In that gesture. But you see, the challenges that we, they're taking it, but it's horrendous, like all of a sudden you put yourself in a room, just do it for 7 days or 24 hours, 48
do it
hours.
for 7 days. Try to do it for 7 minutes.
Like they put, darkness, they have this darkness, and then the behavior of the society, how they're behaving toward. There's some people who are more empathetic. Some are just, they're sympathetic, but just like, the derogatory way they are sympathetic. I can understand when, the biases comes into interaction. So it's challenge for them, and it's been a challenge for me. About my bipolar situation. My family, 10 years. I had no support. Because they were saying that I'm faking. It's until unless my daughter got into the medicine and she saw the medicine, and then she realized that there is something like he's been. So like all this, because of this one handicap, my whole marriage is, it's like humble. So that's all. I understand. Disability. I understand the challenges which comes out of the disability, and that's motivate me. And so I'm with them, to motivate them. Many ideas I have, they can integrate them,
Hold that thought right there, because that's going to be a segue into the next question, which I'm about to talk about: mobility and navigation. So my question to Brother Tim, how can you describe the techniques or the tools you use to navigate through this environment that you're going through?
Okay, well, we have the cane, which has become our eyes as we travel, walking, the sidewalk, around the house, your property. We train how to go up and down steps using the cane. There's, a technique for that. Then in the crowds and supermarkets, there's some techniques. So you kind of, people see you, and they'll part way, make room for you. Then we have, if it's mobile travel, we are assisted with the MTA has a program, MTA Mobility. And then there's other services that are contracted with MTA, user, UServe, cab, and then you have a program called MTA Call a Ride. So there's at least 3, that I know right off the bat.
So those resources that you're talking about, do you feel as though there should be more resources?
Yeah, there should be more, but I know there's some that I don't know about. You know what I mean? You know, I hadn't been, you know, doing like, you know, a lot of research, you know, what's available to the blind as far as, you know, mobility, and travel. You know, I just, you know, heard it from other, you know, blind people and other disability people, but, you know, there could be other, you know, forms or avenues of mobility and things that I don't know about, and I think, you know, it should be more, but it might be more and I just don't know.
People in Baltimore have been let down so much to the point that they don't want to show up or participate because they feel as though it's not gonna go anywhere. But I feel like now is
So
the
how do
time
you
to like
change that?
change.
How do you change that? How
Start,
do you push the narrative where people can reach out to their representative? Because on the state level, most state representatives, of course, they have jurisdictions in which they represent. How can a average, private, normal citizen reach out to their state representative to push the narrative on their issues or their concerns?
well, I do think that being a constituent services liaison, there needs to be more interactive, you know, with everybody. We'll have like
So
where
is that
they-
coming from the legislature?
yeah, from
actually?
legislator, yes, from legislator. Because
Okay.
you can deal with, being a constituent services, you can deal with the business side, you can deal with personal and government to try to make the, that bridge together. So that's what I'm hoping that we can do with this group, make more awareness about like the challenges for disabilities and everything, you know, because not only have, we have disabilities and physical disabilities in Baltimore, we also have mental disabilities. Like a lot of kids have grown up dealing with so much trauma, like, you know, their family member dying or this person dying and stuff like that. So it's a lot that we need to do because to me, at that point, that becomes a disability because your mind you can't think straight. Like you have things on YouTube where you see guys they're young on the street using drugs because of things that they grew up when they were little kids, boarded up houses they have to see. Like, it's just, I feel like our group could probably bring a lot of like awareness and help change.
But you know what? This is my thing, right? Okay, so it's gonna need we can do that, but this is what's gonna have to happen, okay? Because I've called Kawazi Elfumi a few times. He don't even answer his phone, but I called the person in Towson. They answered, like I called him on a bright Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm like, well, he don't even answer. The officers don't answer on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. But the other people, the congressman office in Towson, they answer the phone Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
You get the difference?
Yeah.
Like, so what are they, partying or something like that? And then when you call a DC number, that's disconnected. So I'm saying, you put these people in office and things like that, we don't hold them accountable. There needs to be some type of legislation where we can recall them,
Right.
because, you know, like California, they recalled Governor Newsom when they thought that he wasn't doing his job. We need to have in legislation recall these fools because they're not doing what they need to do. You know, they here to get a check and then they get a retirement for the rest of their life on our backs, and that's
Yeah.
not fair. You know what I'm saying?
It's not.
And we need to stop that
Yes.
narrative right there. Because like I said, I called Kwazi and Fumi a few times on a Monday, a bright Monday, like, okay, 10 o'clock in the morning, I said, okay, you know, they kind of, I give them a little rhythm. 11 o'clock, they don't even answer the phone. When I call Towson, they answers the phone.
Right.
Got you.
Right.
So, Brother Omar, just to piggyback on exactly what we was talking about in terms of the topic, from your perspective, in terms of mobility and navigation, can you describe what it is that, of course, the techniques, the tools, the environment, and what you assist them in, and what they experience? Does that have an impact on you? Does it affect you?
I'm a researcher in the social sciences.
Yeah, can you speak up?
I'm a researcher. and I do research in public health. And what I can see from blindness, people or government tend to think that once you're blind, be satisfied you're alive. But they forget that these brothers want to thrive as well. They don't want to just live from day to day. They want to thrive. They want a normal life. And the services that they provide are substandard. Without question, they're substandard.
Not to interrupt you, but describe normal life, because if you're blind, and this is from my perspective, and I may be absolutely wrong, how can it be normal if you have that
Man,
disability?
happiness across every line.
Right, I understand there's happiness, but then we're talking about a certain level of normalcy.
And
So,
so that's the challenge.
okay,
They tend to think, in Maryland, for example, they tend to think that life is normal. The research that I do, people tend to think that black folks murdering each other is normal. That is not normal.
right.
This is not the way people act. Because the wife put the wrong stamp on the envelope, she busts in the head. That's not normal. And I always said, initially I started work with the CDC, with the Center for Disease Control, and I worked on a grant called Environmental Public Health Tracking. And we look at environmental factors, how they affected people. And what I learned is that lead is dominant in the city of Baltimore. And not only lead, but people, they tend to think that when a person has lead, they recognize it when in children, but they think in adults it kind of dissipates. And I want to take you off this track. They think it dissipates. But lead in people's body, I think the reactions that we have, when we do a little more research, I'm still doing research, that we realize that lead does not dissipate when you get older. It may frustrate you, it may retard you, it may wind up with high blood pressure, may wind up with some form, add to some form of cancer. And I believe when they continue to research, what they're gonna find is that this is not normal. People responding emotionally is not normal. Baltimore has 274 neighborhoods. Most of your crime is in 8 neighborhoods. And that most of your crime is in 8 neighborhoods. Baltimore is not a violent city. Baltimore is set up as a research city. It's a lab. We have information on every neighborhood, demographics. We can tell you how many black and white folks are there. Then we have economic issues in the neighborhood, social economic information on all these neighborhoods.
So again, then I ask you the same question that I asked Brother Kev. How does the crime rate correlate with blindness? How do we bring them together and assess the two to bring correlation where it doesn't bring despair amongst the community, the blindness, or the people?
I can't even look.
Oh, I feel like the blind community can probably help a lot of people, because all the stuff that has been going on since, like, you go to YouTube, you can pull up 1960 in Baltimore, the same crime, the same this. It's like everybody's blind to it. Like, really, like, they're physically blind, but mentally blind. Like, because why is it still happening? Like, year after year, like, this is ridiculous, and we gotta do something. Stuff has to change. And then just like what he was talking about with the leg, if you have, I mean, do they do, like, if you have a child, if you had lead and you have a child, like, does that lead?
No, I don't know.
I mean, because it's like so much lead in Baltimore, like.
See,
Well,
we're bouncing around again. Now we're talking about crime, we're talking about lead, but again, what's the correlation with blindness?
The blindness is that a certain group of people, everybody has become blind to.
So you're saying they become immune to it?
Mentally.
They
blind.
become
Right.
immune to
Yes,
the process,
Yes.
the system, the methods in
right.
which our government, our business, our private, public partnerships, and everything else
health.
is.
Even
Okay.
health, because you haven't, when the last time have you been back, you went back to the eye doctor?
Well,
I mean,
well,
like-
I have appointment, once a year, which, if I determine myself that, something's going on, I can still go in.
But it should be something where, like that to basically isolate certain communities in certain groups of people, to me, that's ridiculous.
Where we
Like,
isolate?
I mean, in
Family
fact, he
that
hasn't
can
even, if they know that he's blind, where's his doctor's appointment?
Who are we talking about?
Like, even the
Are we
healthcare
talking about his
companies,
family? Are we
like,
talking about the community? Are we talking about
I
the
think,
government?
well, for me, I think I just
Who?
gave up hope once he said I was blind. I said, man, ain't nothing getting it back. I'm probably guilty of it because, like, you know, my mother asked me all the time. One last time I been to the doctor, eye doctor. I was like, man, shit, I ain't going no fucking doctor. For what? I mean, I ain't getting nothing back.
and see, and that's because they probably should have gave you a therapist. They probably should have had somebody that coached people, like, do you have,
So
like,
we're talking about government assistance now, so there should be more government intervention, more government assistance to assist the blind.
I feel like,
In terms of their transition.
I
into
feel
life.
like
You know what I'm talking about?
instead of throwing money into nonprofits that's not working, you know, like, here you have individuals that have the issue, and they know how to best describe it and to, you know, but nobody's reaching out to them. Like, he had to stand 3 hours in a supermarket.
This is why
Like
I
that,
mean,
it's just a lot of things. Oh, okay.
no, go ahead. No,
Oh,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
I mean, you know, this is why, you know, I mean, I find, like, you know, representing and moving this group, the challenges is, you know, the awareness. I mean, it's like two prong. I mean, you know, first, you know, like forcefully these brothers will, you know, put the message out, and in the meanwhile, we should, you know, go lobby. I mean, with the legislators, you know,
Yes.
like just show face with them, you know.
Yeah.
And then, you know, move on into, so where we could, you know, go into the law, I mean, arena of law, where, you know, we could, you know, pick up things. Because right now, I mean, you know, everybody wants to be, I mean, like, especially, I mean, Kevin, I mean, I find him more frustrated that, you know, like, he wants to do something.
Yeah,
you know.
he does.
So, you know, like, I think, you know, two-prong, I mean, public awareness and legislation, you know, that's the way to go. And, but with the forceful message. I mean, I would like that, you know, every time, you know, we have another, I mean, blind person among us, you know, and we should, you know, like, go into his life. I mean, where, so that, you know, those eyes, I mean, where we want them to be seen, I mean, so they could see.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of money available. Money
Yes.
is not the problem. Money is the, but how you put the project together and
Right.
how it moves. The money will start coming. We are around Washington area. There's tons of money. People are taking money and going out, spending it outside, you know. But the only thing is that you have to forcefully, you know, like,
Yeah.
I mean, ask for this.
Yes,
So,
that's true.
Brother Omar, is there a contact number, a email address, a website that the blind leading the blind actually have, so people can get in contact with you, can offer resources, can donate, can get involved and things of that nature? Is there a way that they can get in contact with
Okay,
you?
we're evolving. We have our personal contact number, but I'm not giving mine out. I'm saying at the same time, I think if we get anything from this podcast, it's prevention and awareness. What's causing blindness? How many people are going blind, and why are they going blind?
Okay, gotcha.
If we can just increase the awareness, and then we can probably help increase prevention. People need to know that glaucoma is serious. They need to know that that their sugar is serious. These are some of the leading causes of blindness: glaucoma and diabetes. But as we move forward, we have professional doctors and nurses that come on and talk about blindness. It's not an accident.
Okay.
We should make people aware, especially in the black community, that blindness is serious, but it's preventable. Just like blood sugar, just like diabetes. Now they know it's pre-diabetic. I'm a pre-diabetic, meaning that you guys become more and more conscious of what you put in your mouth. It didn't just fall on you. You follow what I'm saying? Blindness is occurs over a period of time. Glaucoma, everybody should know what the pressure is in their eyes. Everybody should know. But just like you know your blood pressure, what is the pressure? What is
I
the
didn't know
pressure?
I had a pressure.
It's supposed to be 13.
And this is what
13 and under,
we
ladies
need
and
to
gentlemen.
increase the awareness. If we do nothing from this podcast, it's to increase awareness about blindness.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Blindness is real. And it does a person, because he becomes blind, he's not dumb. He's not destitute. He wants to function like everybody else functions. He wants to function in a normal environment. He
Right.
needs hope.
We don't want to function. I want to thrive. I don't want to function. I want to
Right.
thrive.
So
You will
Oh,
thrive,
we do have
brother.
a website though.
okay,
Yeah.
so
We do have a website.
Well, but in the
I'm
future,
going to give
brother,
Ms. Brooke Evans the opportunity, of course, to share with the guests, the audience, the website and any other contact information that if people want to get involved and check out the website and send in donations and additional resources and give some input, or they may even have some questions because their family member or friends is going through a
Right.
similar
yes,
situation.
reach out. Reach
And they
out.
want to know. So, of course, Ms. Evans.
So the website is I'm sorry. It's, I'm thinking, I'm bringing it into fruition that we have a website already. But the email address is, blind leading the blind LLC@yahoo.com.
All right.
And I'll list
That's
it
blind
down below.
leading the blind. BLINDLEADING BLIND LLC @yahoo.com. You said
Yes.
yahoo.com.
Yes,
correct?
yahoo.com.
Yeah.
And also, I wanna say that Kevin was supposed to make an appointment for him and I to go to his eye doctor, so that's
Okay.
why I kinda got like on him about the doctor thing.
But I did find out my blood type. Haha.
Oh, great, okay.
So,
And can you tell us?
just to wrap
Yes,
things
I
up,
will.
because of course we've been at this now for almost an hour and a
Okay.
half.
Okay, we got good.
Just to wrap things up, I just want to ask you, Franklin, what advice would you give to someone? What advice would you give to someone who wants to know more about the blindness, wants to get inclusive in adding support to the disability, and if they want to expand their awareness on this? What would you advise a person that can see? How can they
Follow this
Ask-
podcast.
Yeah.
Follow this podcast.
Follow
follow the
If we're
podcast?
unfolding additional information as we mature, we'll bring more up-to-date information to the audience.
And, if
And
you got
making
any
it-
kind of eye
Number
problem,
one, I think what we need to do is increase the awareness. And
Okay.
if this podcast does nothing else but increase awareness of blindness, not just in the black community, but increase awareness
Everywhere.
period.
Awareness and
And
Blindness
inspiration.
is serious, but it's also preventable.
I mean,
And
also inspiration. You know, this is why I had this suggestion that like every other week, you know, we should have a person who should be telling his own story. That so that will put that this is me. You know, so we want this message to go out. You know, and
Yeah.
watch out what you're
And
doing.
we do have
think locally.
requests for, a couple of guests. One guy, he is a blind guy, but he runs marathons in,
Yeah, can you show
Philly.
me?
Yeah, I have his
Can we use
name.
names?
what
That way
is
we
his
give.
name? Okay,
exposure
so
and
his name
notoriety.
is
Yeah.
Kinsey. It's called, Philly Achilles Family. They do marathons, they're on Facebook. So he wants to be a guest, and we also have Tanya Drayden. She's an amazing singer, and she's local, she's blind, and she won a grand prize on, Star Search. So she wants to also, participate, be a guest. And one other person, from here, he's a DJ, and I forget his name, but he's blind. And he wants to be a guest as well.
Okay, and also I have Mr. Brina Washington at Blind Industry Services of Maryland. She's one of our vocational instructors at school, and she told me as well that she would be a guest as well. And Alicia, I don't know how to pronounce Alicia's last name, but she's also an instructor. She told me she would be a guest as well. So things are starting to move in the right direction.
Yes,
But
Lord.
also, I want to look into maybe me and Brooke have Brooke help me look into maybe getting a 1-800 number. Maybe we can have some interaction. People call in, or maybe I can try to get a phone or something, so that way we can we'll put it in the company name, and hey, we'll have people interact. Call in, and if you have any live questions or whatever, we can talk about it.